Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. Now in one of my previous videos, I actually showcased to you guys some very beautiful anodized titanium pieces that I got sent over to Spinetics, and when they returned to me, Joshua added a, I guess then unnamed spinner, but here we are. This is now named the Genome Spinner. So this is the Genome Spinner under the DNA line by Spinetics, and it is designed by none other than Legacy Spinners, which is why it's reminiscent of the Origin Spinner. Right, so it's got the Origin vibes going on. And this is actually a prototype, so I'm going to give you guys my quick look on this because it's not going to be fair if I give it a full review, because the retail version is going to be slightly different and better, I would say, than this particular version. First of all, a huge shout out to Joshua for sending this over to me because he wanted my input, and I did give him my input, but I'm going to give you guys the same input that I gave him. But of course, he has dibs because, he sent it over to me. Now, I'm going to point out something pretty interesting, and that is the fact that I believe these buttons are made in titanium. They are way lighter than the standard 1.5 Origin button, so if it really is titanium, Joshua, this is quite cool. But I'm highlighting that because the retail version of the Genome will be available in two metals, which is stainless steel, like this one over here, and in titanium. So now since the buttons are off, yes, it features a bearing retention system, just like that. So you use a standard bearing tool to remove this cap over here, and then you can pop the R188 bearing out, and this one is a 10-ball hybrid ceramic bearing. I'm gonna put the buttons back on and tell you guys a little bit more about the specs of what you can expect on the retail version, not this version, okay? So first of all, the retail version, you guys already know, is gonna be available in stainless steel or titanium, and the stainless steel version is gonna be going for about $44.99, which is about $45, which is awesome actually. It's a pretty solid price for this. And the titanium version is going for $69.99, which is $70. Under 70 for such a hefty thing? Now since we're talking about that, the stainless steel version will be weighing in at about roughly 85 grams, which is pretty awesome. I like 85 grams. I think it's a very good medium weight. And the titanium version is going to be weighing in at 50 grams, but thereabouts. 50 grams for this is actually pretty hefty. If you guys have handled titanium spinners before, you guys will know 50 grams is actually pretty hefty for titanium. The estimated two-handed spin time out of the box for the stainless steel version, I'm not so sure about the titanium version, is stated at 5 minutes or so, but on this prototype, guys, this hefty little beast over here, it's getting me about 6.5 minutes to 7 minute spins, which classifies this as a long spinner. And I really think that it's got some very beautiful, smooth spins. Zero judder, and very, very smooth in terms of its spin quality. I'm serious. Like, the gyro effect on this is just wonderful. This gyro effect is... It's crazy. It feels almost like the Delta Core. If you guys are really into that kind of hefty spinning with a crazy gyro effect, and if you've ever experienced a spin on the Delta Core before, then this is kind of like that. At the same time, I think it's a little bit reminiscent of the Circulator Spinner by 2R Designs. That one actually had a very, very beautiful spin quality as well. So this feels really, really good. And the next awesome thing that you can expect is that you'll be receiving not just one, but two bearings for this spinner, and the first bearing is actually an FZ Essentials SBV2 bearing, and you guys already know SBV2s are just pure awesomeness. And the second bearing will be a hybrid ceramic bearing, so that's actually pretty solid, the fact that you get two different bearings. But here's the thing, okay, you'll actually be getting two buttons. Yeah, two sets of buttons, not just two halves of buttons. I'm talking about two sets. Now, this one is where the kicker is. One of the buttons are regular style, and I don't know if it'll be the V1.5 Origin buttons or what is called the V2 finger pads. Now, on the Spinetics page, it is stated as an XL V2 finger pad. I don't know if the regular style V2 finger pad is going to be this or a proper V2, because this is a 1.5, so I don't know if it's going to be this one or a proper V2. But the other one is really interesting. That is called the Unifit style, and the Unifit style basically is Spinetics' answer to having a set of buttons that will be able to fit both press-fit spinners as well as spinners with a bearing retention system. And I'm not talking about buttons like these that can go onto press-fit spinners, but you actually have that huge gap in between the buttons and the body. I'm talking about buttons that will fit rather flush. So it's going to be like an adjustable system, and I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know what Spinetics has in store, but the fact that they have that coming up, that is just amazing. So that's why I say again, for $44.99, if you're getting a spinner like this with two bearings and two buttons, man, even the titanium version, for the sheer amount of material, that is such a steal. I don't know how Spinetics is doing it, but whatever they're doing, it is awesome. Right, so now let's talk about the fidgetability of the spinner. And this you guys have to take with a grain of salt, because this is a prototype version. This version has a very beautiful finger hugger right here. And the most comfortable is when you actually hold the spinner like this. This is really comfortable, especially on your index finger and middle finger. It just feels really, really nice and feels so comfortable like that. This is kind of like a, I don't know, like a worry stone-ish kind of thing, where you get this very beautiful tactile feedback. And I'm saying beautiful because I don't have any other word to describe it, but it's just here like that, and this feels so comfortable holding it. Even this way, guys, even this way. It's like a pseudo wine glass, you know what I mean? Or a pseudo cigar, but this feels really, really good. The only downside about this is that this inner edge over here is quite pronounced. As you guys can see, it is a hard edge, not a sharp edge, because everything has been nicely brushed already, but it is a hard edge, and sometimes can be a little bit uncomfortable when you actually ram your finger in when you're regenerating a flick. But here's the thing, I gave this feedback to Joshua and he told me, don't worry dude, the retail version will be featuring chamfered edges. So oh man, they already answered the only gripe, because Joshua knows what's up. All of them over at Spinetics are all spinner enthusiasts themselves, so I'm pretty sure they will know the basic nuances of what makes a good spinner, and chamfered sides like this, chamfered edges like this is going to be one of those things that they're going to be adding. So guys, pulls are good. Pulls are really, really good on this thing, but the best, in my opinion, is forward flicks when you have your finger inside this part over here, in that recessed area in the notch. This just feels so good. Once you get your finger right in there, and I bet it's gonna feel even better once you have that chamfered edge, but once you get your finger in there, guys, just this action alone feels so good. You don't even feel like flicking it. You could get your finger in here, down like that, and then pull it back still to get a preloaded flick, but it won't be a strong, hard, bam kind of preloaded flick. Still, it feels really good, and this is by far the best way to fidget with this spinner, in my opinion. Now switching it up to the middle finger and thumb grip like that. Now fidgeting with this with the index finger is a little bit, I would say a little bit different experience, because up here there's so much real estate that it's kind of rare that your finger actually lands inside here. But when it does, right, when you push it forward, sometimes you kind of smack your fingernail onto the inner edge like that, and it doesn't really feel like a good flick. It feels like it's slipping out like that. It just feels like so smooth, you see, because it's rounded in here, it just slips out. When you pull back, there is no fear that your finger might actually get hit by the arm like that, because it just slips right out. So that actually is very nice. The pullbacks on this is very nice. It's the push forwards that can be a little bit funny, because if you land up here and you want to do a push forward, you get your finger stuck in that, I almost wanted to say crack, but you get your finger stuck in that slot over there. And that's when things get a little bit uncomfortable. I don't feel a lot of satisfaction when I do this. So this is the only downside to the fidgetability of this. But on the fourth finger, you guys already know. And this thing is so chunky that if you're gonna do the forward, back thing, you gotta really be careful, okay? Because I've hurt myself a couple of times because of the sheer size and sheer weight of this thing. Now when I say chunky, I really, really mean chunky. I mean, all of Legacy spinners so far have been some of the chunkiest available in the market, and that is something that we all cannot deny. But look at this, guys. This is just, look at the thickness, everyone. It is about 1 centimeter in thickness, which is crazy, okay? This thing is just super chunky. Look at that. Guys, look at that. And at the same time, there's nice details in the form of these recessed areas over here that are angled in. So nope, they are not sharp at all as well. The only thing I could foresee, but you know, I don't really know because this is not the retail version, is that sometimes I get my finger snagged on the inside right there, in between that raised edge and the button. Sometimes it gets snagged when I have my finger there. See, like that. But I don't think that that will be present, and I don't think that will ever happen on the retail version, because that edge right there, I assume is going to be chamfered. But this thing is a beast. It's getting really solid spin times. It's got a really good smooth spin. Nice resonance, nice feedback, and overall just pretty well made. The last thing that it comes down to, I guess, for everyone else is the design, whether or not the design appeals to you. For me, it's so-so. It doesn't really scream, oh, I'm beautiful, look at me. You know, it's really subjective, but it's very functional. I would say it's very functional, and it is definitely unique. You know, there's no other spinner that looks like it, and well, it's pretty solid for a tri-spinner. But you guys already know I'm a bar kind of guy. I could totally see this in a bar form, just more exaggerated. It'll look almost like the Origin, but then again with these slots over here, I guess it'll add some different nuances, yeah? I think that the closest spinner that this looks like is the Hammer of God. And those of you with the Hammer of God, I don't have one, so I can't really say. At this point of time, I kind of wish I had one so I could compare, but I believe that the spin quality is going to be about the same, because the Hammer of God has like these crazy over-exaggerated outer arms like that. But this one is just thrown out like that. Look, it's just thrown out this way and thrown out this way. That is such a smooth spin. See guys, really, really smooth. Just crazy. Last but not least, here we go. This is a size comparison of the Genome Spinner next to a Stubby. And clearly, it is much bigger than a Stubby in every way. Even in thickness. Look guys. Stubby can't even compare to this. Stubby is like half the width of the Genome Spinner, guys. That's how much material it's gonna have. That's how hefty this thing is gonna be. Just the sheer amount of mass, guys, it's crazy. Yep. And that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing in this slice of my life. I really appreciate it, and I hope that I provided enough information to help you decide whether or not the Genome Spinner is a spinner for you. Remember, it is under the DNA line of Spinetic spinners. It is a collaboration between Spinetic spinners and Legacy spinners. You guys already are familiar with the Nuclear spinner. That was actually a collaboration with Bade Modern Products. I think it's called Bade Modern Designs or something. I'm sorry Vahid. I know I'm screwing your company name up, but yeah, it was designed by Vahid. And at the same time, the DNA X, Y, and I were collaboratively designed by Jong-un. This one, Origin Spinners. And next up in line, I believe, is Damn Designs. And you guys know, all of these designers so far, all of these makers so far have been churning out nothing but awesome designs and hit after hit after hit. So I'm really looking forward to that. Not to mention that just very recently, Joshua announced that they're going to have a collaboration with Fidget HQ. So this is just changing up the whole spinner game, everyone. Like all these collaborations, it's crazy. It's very, very, very welcome in my opinion, and I like it. But once again, everyone, this is the DNA Genome Spinner, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks for sharing, everyone, and as always, links in the video description down below, and I will catch you all in the next slice of my life. Gaga Boost!